Should future growth pay for itself? Find out what St. Lucie County is doing to make that happen next on Inside St. Lucie. Hello and welcome to this edition of Inside St. Lucie, SLC TV's monthly government affairs show. I'm your host Eric Gill, Communications Director for St. Lucie County, and on today's show we're going to be talking about growth and impact fees with my guest St. Lucie County Commission Chair Chris Sadowski and Performance and Innovation Division Director John Tukanich. But before we meet our guests, here's some upcoming events and announcements from the Board of County Commissioners. St. Lucie County offices and attractions will be closed Thursday, November 11th in observance of Veterans Day. St. Lucie County offices and attractions will also be closed Thursday, November 25th and Friday, November 26th for Thanksgiving. The third annual Treasure Coast Wine and Ale Trail Festival takes place Saturday, November 20th from 1 to 5 p.m. at Summer Crush Vineyard and Winery, located at 4200 Johnston Road in Fort Pierce. Organized by St. Lucie County's Tourism Office, Visit St. Lucie, tickets for this event are $25 in advance or $30 at the door, which provides each attendee with one tasting glass and unlimited tastings. Children 12 and younger will receive free admission. This event will feature live music, food, and a variety of tastings from local breweries, cideries, and wineries. Tickets to the event can be purchased online at treasurecoastwineandaletrail.com. For the latest updates about all St. Lucie County Commission meetings, workshops, and events, visit our website at stlucieco.gov and click on our calendar. And if you'd like to be added to our press release distribution list, send us an email at pio@stlucieco.org. We also hope you'll follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to find out more information about what's happening here in St. Lucie County. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, we're going to check in with the latest economic development stats with another St. Lucie Works. For the fifth consecutive month, St. Lucie County's tourism numbers showed huge improvements, with August's bed tax revenue increasing by 85% compared to last year. These figures are also 47% higher than August in 2019, setting another historic collection for the month. Year-to-date, tourism revenue is up 32% compared to 2020. Overall building activity in unincorporated St. Lucie County remains strong in August, with 1,272 permits submitted compared to July's 1,311 permits. The housing market keeps climbing. According to the Florida Realtors Association, the median home sale price in St. Lucie County in August was $317,900, up 25% from last year, while condo values dropped slightly by 11% with the median price at $215,000. St. Lucie County's unemployment rate remained level in August at 5.2%. Statewide, the unemployment rate was 5%. The largest increase in the labor force on the Treasure Coast was in professional services with 3,600 new jobs, followed by leisure and hospitality with 2,800, and construction trades with 1,800 new jobs. If you work for a local business looking for skilled or trained labor, be sure to contact the staff at CareerSource as they can assist your company with its recruitment and training needs. And if you're an individual looking for a job, they can help you as well. Visit CareerSource online at careersourcerc.com or call 1-866-4U2-HIRE. Welcome back to Inside St. Lucie. I'm your host, Eric Gill, and I'm joined by St. Lucie County Commissioner Chris Sadowski. Commissioner, thanks for coming on. And John Tukanich, our Performance and Innovation Division Director. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I'd reach across the table, but just to shake your hand. But
Air
so we're going to talk about impact fees today. And Commissioner, let's start with you, because impact fees have been around for a couple decades now, but a lot of people really don't know what they are. And I know it's been in the news and on social media recently, and people say, we don't want to pay more. It's really not a new tax.
No, well, it's been in place since the mid-80s, 1985, somewhere around 86, and it's an opportunity for a revenue stream to come in to help pay for new development, impacts of the new development that's coming in, and not burden the taxpayers that are already here who've paid into a system to help build roads and sidewalks and drainage and libraries and parks and there's a lot of different elements, but it's about the quality of life that surrounds your home or your business, in which those fees are directed, and they're specific to those particular fees and to those items, whether it be parks, libraries, roads, etc.
Yeah, and recently the City of Port St. Lucie's wanted any new development within the City of Port St. Lucie, they would collect the impact fees on behalf of the county. Correct. For themselves and the county. And lately they want to switch that to a mobility fee, which is a different fee. It gives them a little more flexibility on how they spend that. But it's caused a little bit of
I think it's more of
confrontation between the two governments.
I think it's a misunderstanding is really what I'm getting from this whole thing. And you know, some people say, well, you can't do the mobility and the county wants to do the impact fees. And well, no, Port St. Lucie has every right to do a mobility fee and create the revenue stream as they see fit. But the St. Lucie County also has the ability to provide the impact fee, in which we focus those impacts, in this case, to roads, the bigger discussion that's going on right now. And so the St. Lucie County looks at things regionally, where Port St. Lucie looks at their boundaries within their city. 125 square miles of city, they focus their fees and revenue streams toward those assets. But the county has to look at things more broadly. So for instance, we have been looking at having passenger service at the airport. Well, if you live in Port St. Lucie and you're the 8 to 10 miles away from the airport, you're going to have to take Kings Highway or 95, or the future growth is going to be Jenkins Road and some other north-south arterials. You want to be able to have that access to those particular elements and assets that are available in the county.
Even if you don't leave the city, Amazon trucks are up here in North, you know, the cargo may come into the airport, those trucks will then deliver your goods and services. I see them down Kings Highway all the time.
Well, that's an important point.
Yeah.
You know, St. Lucie County and Port St. Lucie have been working well together for more than a decade in cooperation. And I think that's the important part that the public should take away from this thing, is that local cooperative governments actually give a benefit and some kind of an opportunity for outside corporations to look at, say, hey, they're working well together. It's something we want to invest in. But you know, we did an agreement with FedEx to come in. Yeah, they're going to have 700 trucks a day working on those roads, going all over St. Lucie County and the region, Martin and Indian River. Same thing with Cheney Brothers, Tamco, and then now you have Amazon. They're going to have a 1 million square foot facility, and they're going to have thousands of trucks moving in. So it's about the entire system for St. Lucie County, the county government portion. And so that's why I think it's important for the general public to understand that while Port St. Lucie focuses on their boundaries, St. Lucie County looks at it more regionally, and that we have to focus that way.
And I think, you know, to follow up on that, I think, you know, the city of Port St. Lucie, they've adopted the mobility plan and mobility fee because they are looking at the flexibility that a mobility fee provides based on the mobility plan in terms of addressing and looking at issues other than just road capacity and congestion, such as greenways, pedestrian, you know, ped paths, bike paths, alternative transit. So, I mean, yes, ultimately they do want more control, as indicated in the report. They want to be able to have more control over the dollars that are collected within Port St. Lucie to address the needs from a mobility standpoint that they do. But to the commissioner's point, I mean, I think with the county being responsible for the regional road network, I mean, there's, I think one of their impact fee studies, and it's based on census data. I mean, it's no different. It's a fact. But 82.5% of Port St. Lucie residents that are employed actually work outside of Port St. Lucie. So they're not just driving on Port St. Lucie roads, just like, and think about it. I mean, you know, we have a very vibrant county, you know, and people want all four corners, you know, to enjoy the county, the recreation, the entertainment, the options. So you're going to go, you want to go to the beaches, you're not just riding on city roads. You want to go to downtown Fort Pierce, or Fort Pierce residents want to go to Port St. Lucie, they're driving everywhere. So it's not, you know, our responsibility is to maintain and manage those county roads, and that's what we're trying to make sure that we do in a responsible manner.
And the interesting side of this, you know, about the greenways, the trails, the other paths, St. Lucie County already has those elements available too. We have greenways and trails, to which I think we've achieved about a $25 million grant over a 10-year period that's going to help us support those greenways and trails. It also benefits where we have our Environmental Resources Department creating preserves and conservation areas in which we are connecting all of those things. So St. Lucie County as a county government are already focused in those areas, and Port St. Lucie certainly has the ability to refocus their focus on those elements within the city. So.
And I think, like you said, a lot of it is really a bit of a misunderstanding. I've sat through a couple of meetings at the city and at the county, and some of what I hear from the city council is, well, they're not taking care of this road or that road, or the county's got 22 million built up in reserves. And I think that's a philosophical debate of, whereas we don't bond out and go into debt a lot, we wait till the impact fee builds up to cover the cost to do that road expansion?
Or to leverage that with state and federal funds. But the other thing I would add is when you're looking at just our 5-year CIP, when you're building or widening these roads, especially our larger arterials or more the county roads and the more regional, and because they connect the communities. And it's not a short process. So if you just look at our initial 5-year plan, a lot of that's related to planning, design, engineering. But if you go, take one column over, and we've provided this information. I mean, while we have not spent, a large, we do have money in reserves, dedicated, obligated toward specifically projects. But if you go all the way, like one column over, we identify, $357 million of future anticipated costs. I mean, you're not going to spend $5 million to do planning, design, engineering for a road if you're not going to build it or widen it. So I mean, so it's like when you look at that, just that small snapshot of 5 years, well, what have you done for us lately? But you got to look at what's on the future, and if we're doing everything to lead us up to the point of getting to that roadway.
And 2 points I want to, CIP.
Yes.
Capital Improvement
Project,
Project.
yes.
So
Yes, good
that's
point.
okay. We
Good point.
often
Yeah.
use acronyms like crazy here, but in transportation planning organizations, it's even worse. But that's important. And then you raised the very important part is about bonding out and having hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. General taxpayers do not want to see their local governments in incredible debt. When you see $600, $700, $800 million or $1 billion in debt, that's very disconcerting to a taxpayer who may end up having to pay additional revenue to cover those costs of those bonds. St. Lucie County has been very, very conservative for many, many years in that we build up as much cash as possible, and then we actually, as stated, go for the state and federal grants. On another show that I was on, we talked about how the St. Lucie County does not have very many state roads, and their cost, the monies that they would provide to build and expand those roads. So we actually are a little bit behind the 8 ball in that regard. But trying to keep taxpayers' insight and keeping our conservative fiscal approach is being able to put the monies together so that we can actually leverage those. And apparently the federal government is discussing an infrastructure bill, which those dollars may come in handy for grant match. And I think that's important.
And a lot of times residents too, I mean, we went through this with the Indian River Drive Town Hall, don't understand the full, whether it's state laws or federal laws, like just put up a guardrail. Well, it's not as easy as putting a guardrail because there has to be 6 feet in front of that guardrail and 8 feet behind it, or, and I see people say, well, just widen Walton Road and build a bridge to the island.
Yeah, $240 million.
Well, then also
that's just Walton Road.
Environmental impacts. You got to follow
Well, not only
federal.
that, but you got
if
a
federal
4-lane
dollars or state road, you got to follow all their guidelines and their engineering standards.
But you go from a 4-lane road down to a 2-lane road, and if anybody looked at that stretch of island south of the power plant, the Narrows there, I mean, there's maybe 100 yards. Like it's
well,
not.
I'm going to tell you, you just worried a lot of people out there who live on the island that were going to build a bridge there.
I know it's not, but that seems to be a lot of residents that want. I mean, I've lived here 25 years, and it's been talked about. Oh, create a toll road. Oh, really? We're going to put gates and Sun Pass, or even. And I talked to some engineers and said, okay, because the logic was, well, if we raise Walton Road and build a bridge, that the Savannahs would flow better. But people have told me, well, we'd basically flood Martin Jensen Beach if we did that, because that that water has to sit there and
percolate.
And percolate. That's one of the benefits of having the Savannahs. All that water sits there, like you said, the nutrients get used up by the plants and animals, and then it slowly filters back out into the lagoon. So
well, there in the 45-year plan, actually, redoing that road to some level is in the plan, but it's
not to go all the way
25,
to the
35,
beach.
45. No.
So and you mentioned you've been here since 25 years.
Roughly.
So the county's road impact fee ordinance has been in place since 1985. So impact fees or mobility fees are designed to help people pay for the impact of their development.
Yeah.
Mobility fees clearly provide more flexibility and they offer different things, whereas road impact fees are largely focused on concurrency, or that facilities or the roads are the roads being impacted are being addressed, and there's a rational nexus between the two, and then the person's paying their fair share. So when you bought your house, if you built new, you paid your impact fee. So if you don't have impact fees as a revenue source, then where's the money coming from? Because there's a significant, I mentioned $357 million. where's the money coming from? So the important thing, I mean, and this is fundamental, I think, that I've heard from, from all the commissioners, and I agree with it. I mean, it's like, and among staff, is that, future residents or development should be paying for their impact. We shouldn't be, putting that burden on existing residents. And I think that's an important issue when it comes to the impact fee, mobility. I mean, both of them can coexist.
Sure.
The question is, does the mobility plan that Port St. Lucie adopted, including county roads, that's an issue because those are county roads, and the county commission should, just
be responsible.
We
for
respect
everything.
their home rule. We would certainly would like the same in return in terms of the county commission making the decision on how Midway, Glades cut off, or whatever the case, how that's going to be widened, when, how, to what extent. And so, I mean, I think that's one of the issues, in terms of, there's almost $180 million that are dedicated to county roads, and and we haven't, we've looked at a couple of them in terms of the cost, and we want to make sure that that it's proper. But at the end of the day, the county's the one that's responsible for those roadways, and looking at it regionally. Nobody's opposed to mobility planning or the mobility fee in terms of, I mean, we think it's great that that the city of Port St. Lucie is looking at this. As the commissioner mentioned, we're doing it in a different way through greenways and trails and things like that. But it's just, I think it's just important to understand that the county's not charging an impact fee just to get revenue. That money's being set aside for the purposes of addressing future needs that are going to be caused by the development. Because I found out an interesting fact yesterday, or maybe recently, that the TPO report, we have one road in the county that's failing, and that's Midway. And there would be other counties that would love to be in that position. So I mean, that speaks well to how what the county and the city are doing, and all the cities, are doing. And that happens to be one of our main focus as we're doing our planning and our, as we mentioned, the capital improvements program, our planning and when we're going to address that. And they're looking at that.
One of the things that has to be said, because I think the folks sitting there going, it's going to be more cost associated. Well, Port St. Lucie has chosen to create their fee at a certain number. St. Lucie County has a number, and we have chosen to support the development in the residential community and those who might build and invest by giving a 25% discount for those who might be going through that process. But we hope that as we unfold, this discussion unfolds further into next year, is that we might be able to come to some agreement as to how the revenues would be afforded both to Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie County. And so that's going to be important. So we want to make sure that there's some focus that the development community can believe in.
To that point, the county's currently in the process of updating all its impact fee studies, but obviously right now the road impact fee study is most important. They're all equally important, but it's very important with this issue. And so I think we project maybe 60 days or so that'll be completed. And then you look at, because many times in public policy and decisions that the boards and the councils have to make, time is their enemy. It's like there's this issue, we got to deal with it right now, and time is our enemy. But here, time is on our side because we have to get our study done, and it's being completed, and then phase 2 of the mobility plan is going to drill down deeper to take a deeper dive, looking at the improvements that they're projecting and looking at the cost. Because right now they have what they call planning cost estimates, versus we look at with the FDOT in terms of construction cost estimates. And so I think the time's on our side to be able to work this out, and to resolve this. But it's just something that we think it's important that the county is responsible for the county roads, and we should be the ones making the decisions on those roads.
Yeah, and I think over the years, Commissioner, you've been on the board, and John, you've worked in government for a few years. And impact fees have been discussed. I remember when the housing market was crashed, they were like, oh, well, let's lower impact fees so we encourage more development. But it didn't really...
There was empirical evidence that some counties just did away with their impact fee completely. But because the market wasn't there, it did not institute any new investments. And
But you
so-
still, like you said, you still need to plan for that future growth. And I know you always say we pay for the sins of the past, whether
Yeah.
it's septic and sewer or, Florida on the
Drainage
cheap,
issues,
as
yeah.
Howard likes to, our county administrator likes to call it. We come in, we plot a bunch of houses and we put them in. There's no sidewalks, there's no lights, there's no sewer, water, drainage. And then you end up with situations, 20 years down the road where residents like, why aren't there more sidewalks? I need lights and all this. Well, you get
And
what
that's,
you pay for.
yeah, an impact fee is not a tax. It's basically,
user
it's
fee.
an identification, there's studies done based on population projections, and they're looking at what are going to be the facilities needed to support the future growth that's coming. And those that are causing the impact to whether it be the schools, public safety, parks, and in this case roads, they are paying their fair share. And most home builders, and I would say the real estate and the development community, they'll tell you it's not a major deterrent, because at the end of the day, it's the most expensive investment a family will make is buying their home. And when they make that decision, they're looking to where they're going to live. They're looking at the quality of life. What's the level of, well, they don't talk in terms of level of service, but they want to know, like, well, listen, it's easy to get to and from work. I can get to the beaches, without any major issues. I've got access to parks. We got good schools. Public safety's good. So they're paying their fair share. And I mentioned, you've lived here, so you paid yours. And so this fee, is only there to make sure that we can accommodate growth and development that's occurring, and they're paying their fair share, and we're not shifting the burden to existing taxpayers.
And I think it's important is the quality of life.
Yes.
There's a reason why people are moving to Port St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce, because of the quality of life. For instance, FedEx and Amazon and Cheney Brothers and Tamco, they moved here because of the road system as it is. The distribution process is much easier. You can go east, west, north, south. You can be in the state within 3 hours. You can be pretty much anywhere north, south, east, and west to any major city. So all of that's important. We just had a discussion last week about libraries. Libraries is looking to the future at Becker Road for a $6 million expansion of librabraries. I can't remember the other library, but
Port St. Lucie branch.
Port St. Lucie branch, $6 million enhancement. Because there are 150,000 people that live within 3.5 miles of that particular library. We're looking at Becker Road. We're looking at Tradition. So those assets, libraries are actually one of the most used aspects of our.
They're my favorite department, I have to admit. I love libraries.
But they're great. So again, impact fees go to libraries. They go to roads. They go to parks. We're looking at adding probably 450,000 people in Port St. Lucie in the next 25 years. So we, as the county, have to look at the regional aspect of creating regional parks, such as South Regional Park across from Clover Park. Tradition's going to need a large regional park. We've been talking about Torino area having another regional park. And then future growth of the North County near Indrio Road. Some of those areas up there are going to need regional assets. So the county looks at things regionally. Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce all look to their boundaries as to where their investments are going to be made.
And it's funny you mentioned libraries and growth. The latest census data came out and showed we had a huge increase in Hispanic populations the last 10 years. Libraries have started offering Hispanic story time, bilingual story times, and they've been doing that, but now they're doing it, they were doing it one library, now they're starting doing it 2 libraries. Again, recognizing that growth and change, and even from an emergency operations standpoint, all our EOC briefings and COVID updates have been in both Spanish and Creole. So, we're trying to take into consideration the regional impact and the new growth that's moving here, not just from capital improvement, but even a programming.
Right. The other side of this conversation is the local government cooperation. When a corporation looks at a community in which to invest, they want to know that is there stability within the local governments? Do they cooperate? How can we best utilize that opportunity? We have tax abatement to which we provide incentives for corporations to relocate here, which gives us a tool in the toolbox that provides an opportunity to compete statewide. Port St. Lucie is going to referendum very soon for a tax abatement approval from the voters. If you agree that the new businesses that are coming in, the jobs that are being created, is important to the economic stability of St. Lucie County and Port St. Lucie specific, you're going to be asked in a referendum to actually support that. and it'll be your choice to say yes or no to that, whether it exists. Well, I can tell you that hundreds of millions of dollars have been invested in St. Lucie County because we've had that tax abatement opportunity in both the city of Port St. Lucie, St. Lucie County, which has been able to attract the FedExes of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Tamcos of the world.
Cheney Brothers. And then think about those too, because I was here 10 years ago. We have to renew it every 10 years. And they still pay other taxes. Even though they're getting a break on the property tax to the county, they're still paying school tax, they're still paying fire district tax, they're still paying South Florida Water Management. Schools, yeah.
You know, and it's important to note that because it's not just a giveaway.
Sure.
One, there's a required private capital investment, as well as job creation. So it's performance based.
Sure.
If they have to perform, and then they would get this, abatement over a certain period of time, no more than 10 years, up to a certain percentage. But the other component to that is the economic spinoff. What other companies and/or businesses are opening up, as a result of a large? I mean, you mentioned, the network. I mean, when you look at transportation-related businesses, cargo logistics, they definitely want a roadway system that works because they need to move goods, and that's why they're moving. There's a reason why they're moving here. They get easy access to the turnpike, to 595, and they don't move to a place that's super congested or has problems. They have failing roads, so that's a critical thing. But so back to the ad valorem tax abatement, it's a tool because there are other counties in our state, and there are other states that are competing for some of these businesses, these logistics centers, these distribution centers, manufacturing, and if you don't have that tool in your toolbox, it puts you at a competitive disadvantage because others are doing, are offering incentives to induce them or to encourage them to relocate here, and they bring other jobs.
I want to make one thing perfectly clear. This is not a cash giveaway.
Sure.
If the investment doesn't come and they don't meet that criteria, they don't get that benefit.
Yeah.
And there's no cash taxpayer dollars going to those companies.
I think the board made that policy clear years ago. We don't offer cash incentives
No.
to get businesses here.
And
we
there's clawbacks. And what a clawback is if they don't perform and say they were going to create X number of jobs and they don't do that, then you can claw back or you can take back that incentive or at least a portion thereof.
I want to return to the interlocal agreements, the cooperations of interlocal governments, whether it be Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie, and St. Lucie County as a whole. Those businesses that we've named several times today came here because of that cooperation. Legacy Park was created because of that relationship. When those folks came here, I was invited to have a conversation with the principals of those businesses, and they were very clear to say it was because of the cooperation, the amicability between the elected bodies as to why they wanted to come here. It's something about having knowledge of something's going to be specific and stable. And that's what we try to accomplish. And I know the Board of County Commissioners has made that a point. Now, let's go to another step. Back to the impact fee discussion. Whenever you have the impact fee, their developers have strengths that maybe the county doesn't have. For instance, if you're going to build roads and bridges and you're going to build stormwater elements, well, if a developer comes in, they're doing a master development. Let's use Tradition as an example. We can provide an agreement with that developer to provide impact fee credits. So rather than have the developer pay the county then take that cash and then go put that investment back into that area, the developer can actually get the credit for the value of that cash and then make those improvements. For instance, and I'm going to let you get the actual number, but I think it's between $85 and $109 million that St. Lucie County has provided in credits, basically cash back to the developer to build the infrastructure around Tradition.
It's in excess of about $110 million, and that is again that's the county foregoing the collection of impact fee revenues, whether they're in Port St. Lucie, they're in Fort Pierce, or even in the unincorporated area, because those developers are making improvements to the system to accommodate the impact of their development, and so that's indirectly the county investing in these areas because We don't have to. I mean, we could say, you know, but they're doing the wise thing.
And for the
from an
general
economic
public, they
development
need to,
standpoint.
that's real cash.
Yes.
So it's not just this some anomaly, this little fake thing that sits out there. It's real cash. And so when someone says, well, St. Louis County hasn't invested, well, that's just not accurate. So.
Yeah. Well, we're running short on time, and this is a complex
Yes, sir,
discussion
it is,
to unravel, especially for residents that don't pay attention. They just get their tax bill and I'm tired of paying high taxes. This isn't on your tax bill. If you already lived here, you've built here, you've already paid for this development. But we're reaching out directly, John,
Yeah.
to the development
Process.
community and letting them know that basically the process is changing. You're going to have to pay the city now and the county if you're developing within the city.
Correct. So what we've done is our county administrator, Mr. Tipton, has reached out to the Chamber of Commerce, Treasure Coast Builders Association, the realtors, to keep them informed. And they would encourage them to inform their members because they're vital links to the development community. Because this is going to affect the development community because current residents aren't paying the impact fee.
Yeah.
It's the new residents or the new building or expansion. But we do have a process because, as mentioned, previously there was an interlocal agreement that provided where somebody that's going to develop a house or a business, they would just pay their impact fees, all their impact fees to the city. If it was located in the city of Port St. Lucie, they'd pay them all. They would get both. They would collect county and city, and they would, keep theirs, if you will, and then they would remit to the county. The impact fees that were due to the county. The city has indicated when they terminated the interlocal agreement, and they no longer, as of October 1st, they have no longer been collecting impact fees on behalf of the county. The county impact fee, as I mentioned, we've been in place since 1985. The last study was 2019 adopted. It was based on 2018 data, and we're currently going through the process now. So while previously they would pay that impact fee just to the city, now they're going to pay, to the city the mobility fee, but the county is going to have to collect the county's road impact fee and the parks fee. So we do have an alternative collection mechanism or process that's in our code or the ordinance, the code will say. And what it provides is, what we are going to do is once we receive the public records from Port St. Lucie, the city, for building permit applications, and those building permits that are issued, we're going to send a letter talking about, explaining everything to those, because we want to make it seamless as possible, and so we want to send them a letter along with the estimated impact fee statement, and the commissioners already mentioned that the county is going to be discounting 25% the county impact fee for development within the city of Port St. Lucie while our study is being completed. In addition, we should say that we're also going to be keeping all those impact fees in escrow. So if you pay an impact fee, then the study comes out and says, well, actually your impact fee should have been lower, then we're going to reimburse you. We can't charge you more, but we can reimburse you for doing the right thing. So we'll send the letter, send them an estimated impact fee statement, and if they pay, once they receive their, after they get their permit, within 30 days, we're going to provide an additional 10% discount. Because that obviously that reduces the administrative time that we have to work that case through that impact fee permit. So after that, they have up to 60 days to pay that, and we are also extending the ability, because we're trying to lessen the impact by the 25% discount of the county road impact fee. And then also the discount if you pay within 30 days, but the payment plan, we're going to extend payment plans, to allow them to maybe up to a year or 4 payments within that year to make that to make their payment. So because we get it. You're going to be paying. The city adopted a mobility fee which is higher than their former road impact fee, but the county fee is still in place. And before there was a revenue sharing component to that in that agreement. It gets very technical, maybe this isn't the place, but at the end of the day, the costs are going up with the mobility fee and the road impact fee. So that's why the county commission, I think, exercised some leadership and understanding the impact to the development community and to our builders and the realtors that are selling houses, as well as the person that's building, because they're the ones paying it ultimately.
What's important also that the St. Lucie County is not implementing increasing fees.
Yep.
We're not. We're trying to actually have some certainty for the realtors, for the building groups, the developers, the chamber members, so that they understand that we have a really a certain element to keep business in business and keep growing. So.
And that conversation with the city is still ongoing. I know there's a
Sure.
joint meeting scheduled before this show will air, so it's still a moving target, but at least we have a plan moving forward, and this is the information we have today.
You know, the respective staff have been meeting.
Yeah.
You know, and I would assert that I think we were close to an interim agreement. You know, I mentioned before, I think that, you know, the county's got about 60 so days for its study to be completed. Phase 2 of the mobility plan has to be completed. So there's time there. So we think there is an interim opportunity. You know, we asked for, you know, the county administrator, you know, did ask both in the meetings and a letter. I requested at public the adoption hearing that maybe they pause, not undo it. Nobody wants to
Sure.
anybody, because we respect what they're doing.
Yeah.
We don't want to undo it, but just maybe hit the pause, allow this to happen. So, because this is going to be a little bit of a burden on somebody that now has to. They were used to just paying it Port St. Lucie, but now they've got to come and pay the county impact fee at the county instead of paying it all there.
Sure.
And not just road, but parks as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Commissioner, is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap up?
Well,
the show?
you know, we're in November. Of course, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and so I want everybody to certainly enjoy their Thanksgivings. And just really stay safe out there. You know, we're still seeing some impact with the COVID-19. Vaccinations are still there. You have the monoclonal antibody, and I said that actually the first time without having to hurt myself.
It's still there now. By the time this airs, who knows?
That's
but-
probably true, yeah. But you know, staying safe, I think, is really still very important. Whenever our families get together, it's important that we take care of each other. And so, you know, big gatherings still can be a challenge. So just be safe out there, and you know, we're happy to be here, and be safe.
All right, John, anything else you want to mention?
Just to dovetail, I mean, if anything, this last 18 months or 20 months, whatever it's been, is just to value those who are friends and family members, because we know a lot of them in the last 18 months, people are still, you know, grieving the loss.
Mm-hmm.
And during the holidays, it's a very difficult time. So if you know somebody that is, you know, struggling with the loss of somebody, reach out and just, you know, there's probably no words that can console, you know, somebody that's grieving, but just knowing that somebody cares enough to reach out to them and check on them, that would be a nice thing to do
Even
during the
beyond
holiday.
that, I had a call from a resident earlier this week, and you know, she was struggling with a down payment on her house, lost her job, you know, and needed some financial help, and we're trying to find her past. And I sent a text to my wife, just, you know, we're really thankful to be, you know, in the position. Be, you know, count your blessings, because
Yes.
there's always people out there that
Gratitude
everybody's
checks.
struggling with something. So.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Inside St. Lucie, and we hope you'll tune in again next month. If you have topics or subjects you'd like to see covered here on the program relating to St. Lucie County, give us a call at 772-462-1791 or send us an email at pio@stlucieco.org. And if you'd like to see previously aired episodes of this or other SLC TV programs, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/stluciegov. For myself and the staff, I'm Eric Gill. Thanks for watching.